again, certainly excited to be sitting here before you with the win today. Our goal each and every week is we're focusing on being 1-0 at the end of the week. So again, we got it accomplished. Wasn't pretty, wasn't perfect. It may never be perfect. And really proud of our defense this afternoon. Creating those 4 turnovers offensively, we need to turn those turnovers into points, and weren't able to do that consistently at all this afternoon. I credit Memphis's defense. We talked about that for the last week and a half or so, how talented they were on defense. Coach Odom, their defensive coordinator, does a great job. But again, I look at the penalties we had offensively. We had a touchdown call back and a holding call in the first half. And I felt like, while I give them credit, certainly our execution was not where it needed to be on the offensive side of the ball either. So again, a good team win for our defense to hold them out of the end zone and 5 field goals. I think very, very proud of them. They're on the field for 36 minutes in a hot and humid, beautiful stadium today. So again, another great team win. I thought Richie Leone, our punter, and field goal kicker and kickoff specialist did a nice job changing the field as well.
Coach,
questions?
You midway the season, and you got away with a few mistakes, but the team overcame them, even though they could have been critical when they happened.
Well, and again, proud of our team. We played 5 games, big picture, and we're 5-0. So we could not have a better record. Obviously, at this point, could we play better and have played better at this point? Absolutely. I've heard a wise coach once say, "More games are lost than won," and I am a believer in that. We try not to lose games. It doesn't mean we're being conservative. We're trying to go down and score, but again, we're trying to do the things that it takes to win football games. Creating 4 turnovers, only turning it over, unfortunately, 1 time. Meaning I would like to not turn it over at all, but being +3 in the turnover margin, again, is something we've talked about as a team since we reported, and that's the difference in the game today.
Coach, it seems like you started off early, passing the ball with a lot of passes. Is that because they have a tough rush defense that came in, giving up on 3.1?
Yes, they do a great job against the run. And again, I'll look at the film certainly and have a better feel for, if there was execution mistakes. We never got into a rhythm, and that's the feeling I had on the sideline. Is we couldn't sustain. We get something going, penalty, back us up, get something going, tackle for a loss. So we were getting in long yardage situations, which are certainly tough to call as a coordinator. And again, we'll look at the film, and it's one of these. And I mentioned this in the offseason, joining the American Athletic Conference. I think our fans are wondering at times what the other team is doing when they have the ball and all 11 guys are in a circle talking for 20 seconds, and it's called a huddle. So the other team's huddling on offense. They're keeping the ball. Their time of possession is certainly much more than ours. And again, we're getting it back. If we don't get in a rhythm offensively, we're going 3 and 4 and out, and not taking much time off the clock, and putting our defense back out on the field. Go see what they're doing.
Is it just a mentality for your team? Is it just a mentality now for your defense with that 18 forced turnovers this year? I mean, that they just have that attitude, just that ball hopping.
Well, get security over here, will you? I don't even know whose kids these are. They're not my kids. They don't look anything like me. Blonde, curly hair. Well, and it's something, and I go back, and I've said this before. The first day we reported, I did a study in the off season, just wanting to show our young men, here is what we have to do to get better. Here's what we have to do to win football games. And when they reported the first couple days of August, the first day they reported, I showed them a PowerPoint, and I gave them a handout, and I showed them number 1 is turnovers. And it's not, and I'm going to talk about our defense here in a second when it relates to that, but it works together. Offense, when you have the ball, you got to take care of it. Guys that are kickoff returners or punt returners, when they have the ball, have got to take care of it. Quarterback has got to take care of it. And then defensively, we got to take it away. And it's become a sense of pride for everybody on the team. And certainly defensively, when you're out at practice, that's why I'm standing there and Trayvon Stewart's wrapping up one of their ball carriers. And the play is extended and he hasn't gone to the ground yet, and I see Trayvon wiggle his arm and get it in position, which he does 20 times a day to our scout team running backs and receivers, and just as he's going down, ball comes out. So, and I said this week too, I mean, I've walked out to practice with Trayvon Stewart and Adrian McDonald as those two are talking to each other about, I'm going to get more fumbles today, I'm going to get more interceptions than you today. And it's become a competition and certainly a sense of pride that the kids are taking in it.
Can you talk about O'Corn? He made some plays, in the third quarter. He also made a few, freshman mistakes. Can you talk about his mistakes?
He did, and again, he's a young man. I mean, every week he's getting better, and there's times on the sideline you're yelling no, 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 like on the 2-point conversion, and then as he's getting sacked, he flips it up to Kenneth Farrow and he runs in the end zone. So he's talented, certainly, got great poise. I think he's getting better. He'll continue to make mistakes. I haven't done the math. He's got somewhere around 50 more games in his career here. So he improves every day, learns from the mistakes, which I absolutely think is important for coaches and student athletes. And the more he plays, the more experience he gets, the better he's going to perform.
Back on the defense, is that this year that it just seems that second half game on the line, the offense isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you can go to them and they respond. And that may not have been the case in past years, but it just seems specifically in the second half, whether it's Temple, the game before UTSA or this one, they've always they played lockdown really in the second half.
Well, and we have great communication between our coaches on the headset in the first half. And when we come in at halftime, immediately in the locker room, I always address the team for about 2 or 3 minutes. And our offensive staff, as soon as we get in, is together. Our defensive staff, as soon as we get in, is together. And they're making adjustments. And they're talking. Zach Spavital's up in the press box defensively. And I don't know if anyone's even really noticed this. He's the only full-time coach we have in the press box. And again, we felt like that was best for where we're at in terms of our program right now, to have if we have adversity during the game on either side of the ball, to have the players come off and our full-time coaches be right there to address them. So our defensive staff's done a great job. And Joseph, when you ask that, to me it's at halftime adjustments. Here's what the opponent is doing. Here's what we're doing. Again, what comes to mind, and again, I haven't studied the film yet, certainly, but they hit us on a couple of big runs up the middle in the first half. We saw what they're doing. They've got certainly a full coaching staff as well in our video, and they game planned all week for us like we did for them, and came up with a couple of wrinkles, and we made the adjustments at halftime, and I felt like we shut that series of plays down in the second half. So again, that's more than anything to me. That's what I attribute the second half success, if you will, to.
Second game in a row, it didn't account for touchdown. I think Xavier Maxwell had the alertness. He gets forced out of bounds, comes back in, and makes the diving catch there. It seems like the last 2 weeks, 2 games, he's really come on after dropping some early in the year.
Yes, and I'm proud of him. And again, we got to make plays like that. And I was certainly glad to see him come back and make that play. Came off the jam by the corner. I don't even know when you say it was alert to go out of bounds and come back in. He may not. No, I'm with you. He may not know any out of bounds come back in rules, but he's certainly not going to stop there. No, he made plays today. Again, we're going to try to see what the defensive plan is, and take our shots down the field when we can. And that was a huge play in this game for us.
You tell the guys afterward, Tony, where you are 5-0. I mean, this is where you were last year. I mean, you had 5 wins, and the bowl, your 1 win from bowl. Did you mix all that stuff in there, or do you not say anything about any of that?
Nothing about that. If anybody in our program right now is satisfied winning 5 games, my question would be, we won 5 games last year. So, we don't talk about the past, and I mean what we had for pregame meal this morning. And some people saw what Adrian McDonald had for pregame meal. We're on to the next one. And there's nobody in that locker room, players, coaches, staff, that's driving home tonight and saying, well, one more and we're going to a bowl game. That is not our focus. Our focus now is on BYU. And one game at a time, a week from now, a couple hours later, we want to be 1-0. And nothing we've done so far matters. We're on to the next one. And then after that, certainly check our schedule and see who we play next.
Could you talk briefly about the progress that Marcus has made in the return game? Seems like each game he gets a little better. Just talk about how he's grown and how he's progressing there.
DeMarcus, he's doing a great job. And again, it's when you have a true freshman, you got to evaluate them early in August to see if they can help you. And it's probably the hardest to see if they can be a returner for you. Anybody can come back there and catch a kickoff. But when there's 10 guys flying down the field full speed trying to tackle you, do you have that ability, like a Tyron Carrier certainly did for us, to hit it full speed, be fearless, make your cut, set up your blocks, and he demonstrated that to us obviously early. He's a guy we've got a lot of confidence in. He had that the first long one he had. Everybody's excited, everybody's going crazy, and I'm telling him if you would have done something I told you this week, you would have scored. And then on the next one, which was still a long one but a little bit shorter, he did it. And a guy came off a block. So I think it's twofold a little bit. I think DeMarcus is doing a fantastic job, and he is going to be a great kickoff returner for us in his career here, and certainly an excellent receiver. And I think the 10 guys blocking for him are getting better each week as well.
It seemed like had a few turnovers. How do you clean that up going into the big game?
Well, again, in Minnesota, few is 3, where I'm from. And we did have the ball on the ground on a swing pass, which, again, Ryan Jackson, whether he dropped it or was poorly thrown, was alert enough to jump on it and save the possession. But that's something we emphasize, again, not only going back to that first meeting when the players reported, but every day in practice we're doing a ball security circuit at the end of practice. And we talk about it. Again, I mentioned this week, I believe you get what you coach, you get what you emphasize. Our guys understand if you want to win the football game, you got to take care of the football. You've got to hold on to the football. And, beyond that, they know if you don't, you may be standing over by me. So it's that important to us. It's that important to them. It's the reason, among other things,